And with me here on to discuss is, of course, a very, very young man. He's an engineer, an event planner, management consultant. He's a media practitioner as well, and a talent development consultant. So he's going to be treating this topic with me, and I believe at the end of today, we should be able to let every teenager out there know that there can be honest ways of becoming who they ought to be in life. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Ambassador Phil Roberts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
And it's a pleasure to have you on In Perspective with Ruben.
Thanks.
Okay, there's been very disturbing pictures on social media, videos of real life. I mean, it's not like you heard the story, you are seeing it happen.
Yeah.
And then we just want to know, like, how did we get here? How did we get here, to the point where a young boy of less than 20 years would pick up his girlfriend's, head and begin to pound it on a mortar? How did we get here? How did it come to the point where teenagers, before it used to be like youths in their 28, 30, 35, but now we're talking of 16, 15, 17, 18 years getting into these vices. How did it begin?
Okay, so the challenge we have in Nigeria when it comes to issue about youths and money rituals, I don't blame it on the youths. I don't blame it on the government, but I blame it on the family. Because even the Bible says charity begins at home. And a lot of times what happens in the life of a child starts from the house. Even the Bible says, out of your belly shall flow what? Rivers of living water. So the Bible didn't say from outside it will come inside. It's from your belly. So whatever it's seen in the life of a child happens from within. You live in a house where you have parents who live a life that's questionable. You have a father who comes home at odd hours with nothing to explain the reason for coming home by that time. You have a mother who speaks to the father anyhow, and the children are watching. You have a mother who goes out and comes back also anytime she wants to come back. She doesn't explain. Nobody is held accountable. You have people in the family, the father and the mother, living above their means, and the children are also watching. These are things that the children learn from the house before they even go outside. So when they go outside, the little one they get from outside now triggers the one they've gotten from inside. And most times we blame it on social media. A lot of us are also on social media. We learn a lot of good things from social media. So why is it that those children learn these bad things from social media? Why don't they pick the good ones from social media? It's a question you ask yourself. Oh, they say, the flashy lives that they see musicians. I'm a musician. And they say the flashy lives they see musicians live is the reason why these children. No. If you have a home where the parents explain, the children are in that stage where they learn from everything. It's always good for you as a father or as a mother to explain why you did something. You just explain it to that child. I learned something from one of my mentors. He said, always try to exhaust the communication. Because most times I might be speaking to you and I felt that you've understood what I'm saying and I move on. And later I come back and I find that you don't understand. That's why a lot of people, when people speak to you, they say, did you get what I'm saying? If you don't get it, you say, yes, I didn't get it. So a lot of times it comes from the mother. You as a mother, not just from the mother, from the parents. The parents speak to themselves in a way or live in a way that the children learn from. And they don't explain to the children why they did this. We were speaking about, the news has also been about a gospel music minister that was that suffer from violence or home abuse or whatever. And just imagine what the children also learned from that home. So these are the things we say that these children, they learn it from the house, and when they go out, the little things that they see outside, it triggers it. But if they live in an environment where everything that happens in the house, there's always time to explain to these children that this is not what it is, or don't do like this. So when they go out, no matter how evil their peer groups are,
they are not influenced.
They will not be influenced. Instead, they will influence their peer groups.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now you see, we can get it now. The foundation actually is in the home.
Yes,
the family.
in the home.
Yes. Okay, but what about in situations where you have children who don't really have families? Yes, we have a couple of them who are, like just hanging somewhere. You understand? It's either maybe they have just a parent, over them, of which maybe they are not accountable to. So, in such cases, what happens? What happens to such children? How, from where did they get their own teaching or examples from?
Okay, so I'll still pick it from there and say it's still family. What do you call family? Family is the people around you. It's not just your parents that is your family. If you are born in a place and you now live in a place and see how people behave, and you start living your life like that, every human being, there's this part of you that always tells you that this is good and this is bad.
Yeah.
You understand? This tells you that, oh, this thing you are doing is bad and this one is good. I'm ambassador of the EFCC. And most times when people talk about, oh, why is it that they always pick people and shame them for the Yahoo and all of that, I tell them that there are a couple of people who have opportunities to listen to their pastors or their parents to let them know that this is bad and this is good. But those ones that don't have anybody like I've mentioned, they see. So when you see EFCC arrest somebody, prosecute that person, and you see the way that person ended, you will know that this one didn't do well. So it's now you yourself that say, okay, this is not the kind of life I want to live. But when you choose to see that this thing is not good and you keep doing it, then there's nobody to blame. You have designed yourself to live that kind of life. So most times when they are even caught, I don't even pity such people, because you know what? If you leave them, they will cause more harm. You understand? So if you are someone that you know that you are learning, you are looking at something and this is bad, you are seeing that the effect is negative. I'm an engineer, so most times if something moves to a negative turn, you know that this is bad. But when it moves to the right turn, you know this is good. So it's just left for you to say, okay, this is the way of life I want to live. But when you are growing up, oh, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a doctor, oh, I want to be a nurse. Nobody told you to be a nurse. That's the path you've chosen in your career. So if you see that this is Yahoo and somebody has done ritual and this is the effect of the ritual on the person, I'm not sure you will want to do that. That's why a lot of time people usually post videos of the effect of these rituals. These young men that go to do a lot of rituals, they say, oh, it will cut your life down. So the reason why you are doing this, your show, is for passing information. We need to keep speaking, let them be hearing it. It's when nobody talks about it, that's when they will give an excuse and say, oh, they didn't tell me that it's evil I'm doing. But when you're talking and talk about it, they are not learning. I give you an instance. You're a Christian and this other person is a Muslim and this person is a Hindu. This other one is an Hare Krishna. How did you come into Christianity? Oh, you were born into a house of Christians. That is why when you were giving birth, you were born into, they say, oh, your father is a Christian. So automatically, you're a Christian. So if you were born into the house that your parents are Muslims, automatically you become a Muslim. It's when you keep looking at the life and grow, you grow to the stage that you now have the right to choose, this is what I want. You will now move. I was watching a documentary on BBC yesterday, and there's a new religion that is called the religion of the mind, free-minded whatever, free-minded being. They don't believe in any of all these things, and they believe that they are the ones doing the. So we have a lot of that. So it means that you already knows that this is bad and this is good. So the only thing we keep doing, like I said, to people that don't have parents, is for them to have opportunity to attend seminars, listen to talk shows like this. We speak to them, let them know that this is the effect of ritual killings and all of that, so that they learn from it. A pastor gave an analogy of what ritual killings and and native doctors doing charm for people. It's like you have 80 years to live, and it is designed that you are 20 years now. The native doctor or whatever, it's designed that you maybe by the age of 60 or 70 you are supposed to be a billionaire or whatever, and the guy goes in the spirit realm, bring all of them together, combine them for you, and shorten it into 5 years or 10 years, and you bring it close to you, and you will enjoy it. Your life you are supposed to have lived for 80 years, you will not live it for 5 years. You see, most people just say, this what this guy is saying. But most times, if you are somebody that you understand things of the spirit, you will understand that what that guy was saying made sense. And when you do such rituals, it's either done with blood or with whatever. The man, you ask yourself, this native doctor or this man that is doing this juju for me, if he knows that this thing is good and is making money, why didn't he do it? Why did you now go to do it? These people need to, even when they do adverts for cigarettes, they will tell you that what smokers are liable to die young. So that when you smoke the cigarette, anything that happens to you is your decision. So those are the things that I was speaking somewhere, and I said the Ministry of Information should go to all the native doctors, gather them together, and give them a warning that is either we start arresting you people or sending you guys to life imprisonment, or you put in your shira in a caveat that money rituals is good. You will get money, but know that if you do this, you will die young.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now, that area you just mentioned now about maybe the government going to give an information, how do we like get our children, set as in away from these terrible, I'll call them monsters.
Yeah.
Right, because for an old man, if you check it, they are not young people too.
Yeah.
An old man tells you, go and get your girlfriend's head and pound it. So how do we get to such people? There has to be a way of government coming into, this particular aspect of reaching out to those very people. Because if you check it, we could say, okay, it's spiritual, but if you check it within the ambience of the law, they are murderers.
Yeah.
Leading children, because anyone who leads anybody to commit murder is also a murderer, or we can say an accomplice. So now, how can the government come in?
Okay, the government has a lot to play, but we as a people will have a role also to play. Now, security is everybody's business. In advanced countries, where you see a strange face coming to your neighborhood, you raise an alarm and call 911. But in Nigeria here, it doesn't concern anybody. That is how it is in Nigeria. If you see someone that all of a sudden gets into wealth that you don't understand, it's your duty as a neighbor to ask questions, or you report to the appropriate authorities. You understand? It doesn't mean that you are doing that. Do you know why? If you don't do that, the day that police will come, they will arrest you along. They will also pick you, because in trying to get the information, the man might even run away, and they will say, this guy is his neighbor, and they will arrest that person. So it's either you are helping the society or helping the police, or you are not helping the society. So why I say the people have a lot of role to play is because you don't know if the next person that will be the victim might be your brother or your sister. A lot of times we've heard of stories where a neighbor will pick his neighbor's child for ritual or something, and and this is somebody that they will live together and laugh together and play together, but you can't imagine your neighbor doing that. Second, why I think it also lies in the hands of the people and not the government. Some time ago, the then governor of Imo State created a ministry called Ministry for Happiness. And a lot of people were like, this governor has gone mad. That was where His Excellency Rocha Sokorocha. People were, why will he create such a ministry? He just want to empower people. Oh, Ministry for Happiness, what's that supposed to mean? But if you look at the index, some time ago, we used to hear that Nigeria is seen as the most happiest people in the world. Yes. Can you tell me today that Nigerians are still the most happiest people? So you understand what I'm saying? A lot of factors decided on the happiness of Nigeria. And maybe I'm the minister for happiness. I will look at the psychological issues that have been happening. Why are people no more getting happy? And by so doing, you have people living their life in happiness and reduce depression. So imagine if a governor comes out and brings out a ministry that takes care of ritual killings. A lot of people will now start saying a couple of things. But if these people have seen that ritual killings is a major challenge right now in Nigeria, every government should look into it. Most times they say, it doesn't concern them because it's not their children that they used to kidnap. My dear, some time ago in Nigeria, for those of you watching from outside Nigeria, there's a place called Kaduna. Kaduna is a very peaceful city in Nigeria, and we have various military architecture. We have the trainings and all of that, army, navy, blah blah blah, you can mention them. But today Kaduna is seen to be the worst hit in insecurity in Nigeria. A train was driving to Kaduna and armed bandits attacked that train, and they kidnapped a lot of people, and a lot of people died. And when they attacked that train, nobody was asking if this train will carry Christians or Muslims or whatever. The train was attacked and a lot of people died and a lot of people were kidnapped in that train. Just imagine if intelligence was released earlier and they now said this train is going to be attacked. I think the government should have done something by stopping that train or sending the almighty Tucano jets that they bought, spend billions of naira to go into the bush and raid that place and kill those bandits and all of that. That wouldn't have happened. So I make a proposition to the government today. Yahoo is killing our people. In some time while we were growing up, we heard that the Southwest is seen as the educational hub of Nigeria. They are so educated. But today, Southwest is like the headquarters of ritual killings, 419 and all of that. Can they still boast of having the best brain in education? In some time ago, we boast that the Southeast is the commercial hub of Nigeria. But there's a couple of people called the IPOB, the IPOB. They started what is called Sit at Home every Monday. Now that had an economic downtown on the Southeast. Can Southeast still boast that they still have that economic power in Nigeria? There's a place in Nigeria called the North. The North is designed to be the biggest place for food production. But there was a set of people called the Boko Haram and the ISWAP and all of them. They came in and they brought terrorism, they brought banditry into the North. And today, you can't really get food in the North. So imagine if we keep patronizing and allowing these ritual killings to continue in Nigeria, and it's no more done by our fathers. Let me use that word, because some years ago there's a place called Okija Shrine, and the one in Imo State by that while I was growing, I think in 1994, one popular hotel that was raided. Still this ritual killing. It was those our fathers that were doing it those days. But now it's the children that are now doing it. Is it that the fathers gave it to the children to take into this generation? So I think if we don't kickstart a movement to continue an orientation on talking about the evil of ritual killing, Nigeria is going to be in disarray. We are going to be losing more of life, losing young people on a daily basis. And guess what? It's not only young people that will be kidnapping now. I was reading an article and I heard that it's been discovered now that men that have bad hair, they are good now for rituals. Yeah, I saw it on social media that men that have bad hairs, that they are good for rituals. So if you are thinking that, oh, it's usually the girls that they usually kidnap because they will pick them from Facebook and online, blah blah blah. You now that is a father that has bad hair, you are no more safe.
Okay, so now, how do we curb it? How do we stop it? Because it's actually an emergency. This is getting so much that, you know, I happen to have a couple of nephews, and honestly speaking, their language has changed.
Yeah.
The language is not the same. You know, a child that you will give normally 2,000, you send 2,000 transfer to. They just look at and like they are so grateful now. Send 10,000. It doesn't look like you sent a dime to them. So how do we curb these things? How are we going to begin as a society now? Because this one, it concerns everybody. You won't say, oh, it's don't mind them. Because I heard something, and it's a true statement. If as a parent you are training your child well, and then other children, you get your child to mix up with other children, they will help you destroy your children as well. So everybody's child is your child, as a woman and as a man too.
Okay, so let me begin from a road safety rule that says, when driving, drive as if the person driving in front of you does not know what he's driving. So when you are driving for yourself, you're also driving for the person in front. You know why? Because if that person matches, just imagine if the person is with his wife in the car and they are quarreling, and the guy just gets angry and say, I am tired of this marriage, match break. You that is coming in the back, you are not in that quarrel, you hit them. So I'm just going to put it in this picture. Number one, the public should kickstart a movement where if you notice that these persons are into yahoo, excommunicate them. That is how it is now. There's no mixing of words, no sugarcoating. Do you know why? Because a lot of us who are also youths, who do a lot of legal things, who go through so many hard things to make money, we will feel as if our hustle is a waste of time. That is the truth about it. If you notice this guy is into yahoo, catch him, beat him. There is not, just beat him and beat him and beat him. That's number one. I know a lot of them will not like this.
Beating, taking laws into your hands.
That is what I'm saying. Won't going to take somebody and kill the person taking law into your hands. You can catch that person, or when the person gives you money or brings money, don't take that money. Do you know why? Because most times they give you money to also take your star. You don't know what has been designed. If you have a brother who is into yahoo and all of those things, there must be a way of making them know that what they are doing is wrong. So I still go back to when I say that the federal government can put up a ministry for handling stuff like this, just like what they have with EFCC and they have with the Nigerian drug law. I'm doing something with the NDLA on how to see how they can start talking about more about drug, because they found out that drug abuse is becoming more rampant now. So what I think, going back, they should have a ministry for checking, because we're in the last days, whether you like it or not. A lot of youths are becoming more lazy. Trust me, a lot of youths are becoming more lazy because what they see now, it's free money. They want free money now. I don't know how that came. They just want free money. So people like you can keep doing your orientation, speaking and speaking and speaking and speaking. That is the role that the, what do they call it? Called, not Ministry of Education, of Orientation, National Orientation Agency. You will ask yourself, what do they do? NOA is supposed to be the largest communication platform in Nigeria that is supposed to take this message. You are doing the job of the NOA, and there are a lot of people there sitting down eating a lot of billions of naira doing nothing. So if the NOA can kickstart I don't want to call it a movement, or
it should be a movement.
Yes, something that they can use to preach it.
It's drastic.
Yeah, to let people know the evil of this ritual killings and yahoo. It will help the EFCC. That's what they're going to do. So back to what we were saying. Make sure that you don't patronize those people doing yahoo. And even the young girls, if you notice that you have a boyfriend that is doing Yahoo or ritual killing, don't make friends with that person. Report them. You know, but unfortunately, we have even found out that it's even the girls that are making the guys to go into.
Okay. I saw this particular video. It was so cool. I don't want to mention name, but this particular man, it was his birthday, and then of course there was this helicopter that came, to pick him up. And then of course he was all video showing on the helicopter. He got in, and then of course there was a surprise, guest waiting for him. And like, happy birthday, that surprise thing. And then of course with his nice suit, got in there, started, having some nice time. Now, somebody with me, I was like, wow, I love this. I wish I could have it on my own birthday, But someone was with me, my brother actually, and he said, things like this now will make these youth people now want to now start looking for every means to get money. And I was taken aback. I was like, yes, on the second thought. Because now we flaunt these things, and then you looking at yourself, a youth and maybe a teenager, and you are hardly able to get granite to soak the gari that you are soaking. And then you are imagining, okay, when I'm 50 like this guy, will I be able to drive my private jet? And then the next thing, your head is, is blowing with all manner of thoughts. So how do you, handle that? I mean, I'm talking about our adults now, who are supposed to be like the examples for us. How do we, because now that little boy does not have the chance in that video to see how hard you have worked.
Yes.
Over the years to make that money that made you, such luxury. So how do you handle that from our own part?
There's something we call times and seasons. There are times and seasons. Now, the man you just spoke about now, he made his money. We don't know how he made his money, but such a person might have made his money through hard work, or what people call luck. You understand? I usually I'm an instrumentalist, and most times when I go to church, I play for free. I don't collect money as an instrumentalist. And most times people will say, these instrumentalists, they're always collecting money from church to play keyboard, play this one. And I've asked them, I used to ask questions. I say, have you asked if this guy, this thing he's playing, if it's the only thing he has as a source of living? That is his career. He doesn't do anything apart from playing keyboard. Don't use me, my own level of grace, to judge this man. I might decide not to collect money from a church. Why? Because I have other means of business. But this guy has decided that it's this keyboard that I want to play, and I want to play this keyboard and be the best Tom Brooks. I want to improve myself. I want to make money from it. Don't use the Holy Ghost and tell the man and tell him that God said you should play for free. So a lot of times the church is to be blamed because we preach a lot of prosperity. Most times you come there and say, oh, God bless you, you'll be rich, blah blah blah. You don't preach about kingdom. You don't preach about some of these things you are doing that you're talking about now. We don't tell them the evil in all the ritual killing and all of those things. We don't allow people to go. Some pastors will make you come to church for 7 times a week. Without good, they will not. You go to do your business, your pastor is angry that you went to do your business, and that person will now miss a lot of opportunities. And how do you want that person to make money? So these are some of the things that make a lot of people, they don't make money, and at the end of the day they'll start blaming God and blaming the church. So what I think is that the religious leaders should also be blamed for a couple of other things. I give you an instance. An imam was sacked some time ago for preaching against the government. Why did they sack him for preaching against the government? So you see, most times most pastors want to preach what people want to hear, and they don't want to preach the truth on how it is. That is why you see these same Yahoo boys will go to church and they will give tithes and offering and seeds and all of those things to church, and pastor will praise them. Meanwhile, some people will be saying this person is a Yahoo person. Pastor will tell you that it is God that gives strength to make wealth.
Okay, so on this topic, I want to talk about parents. You see, like you said from the beginning, this whole thing actually starts from the home. Okay, if you are a parent and you're very greedy, your child will most likely fall into this trap. You see, when you have children, don't put them under pressure. Just encourage them to work hard, and then you pray for them and trust God that they are going to do well in life. That's just it. And then when you know your child's level, you know that this child has not come to meet you, that this is where I'm working or this is what I'm doing. All of a sudden, the child is beginning to buy cars and all that to come and give you. Don't encourage it. Because when you do not ask your child, where did you get this money from? Or what are you doing? How can you be giving me this such lump sum? And I know you're not working. Well, if you don't ask such questions, and because you see money, you're just collecting money and eating, so many things will go wrong in your family. Oh. That means you have already compromised. And now, because the child has given you money and has maybe bought a car for you, you are happy and you are encouraging the child. The child will be encouraged to do more. And the child will be going deeper into so as parents, we too will talk to ourselves so that the future and the lives of our children can be better. Thank you.
I will also look at another angle from the parenting aspect. I think a generation has failed that is actually, giving us a tough time, which we are facing now. Like our engineer, the speaker was speaking earlier, he said something like, back in the days, these matters, these vices weren't common. You see ritual coming. When you talk of money ritual, you start thinking about advanced men, not children. But today now, you're talking about teenagers, 17, 16, 15, which calls for concern. I began to think about this some times ago. I said, if this is not properly handled, it will get to a point where it will no longer be teenagers. It might just be a toddler that is coming, or maybe he start learning how to walk and then his mind is already thinking of something else. That's a problem. That's because a generation has failed. That's why we're having this problem now. If we as parents did what we were supposed to do, the time when we were supposed to do it, I don't think we would be having this problem in the society today. Where did we get it all wrong? When we started appraising flamboyant lifestyle without questioning. Now, I read an article on social media last time. It quite interests me. I liked that, about a certain bank I won't mention him, that went for a novelty football match, and out of excitement, having won the match, they saw a little child selling granules, and they called on the child. They wanted to eat granule, just to have that entertainment after match and all of that. Now the manager that went with the team asked the child, the entire granule is how much? And the boy mentioned a certain figure, about 2,000 naira or so. And then he said, okay, for excitement that they've won the match, say give the boy 10,000 for the granite. The child refused. He said, I'm not going to take that. All right. So they were like, why? He said, because when I get home, my mommy is going to ask me where I got the 10,000 from, and she's going to flog me. And then it caught the attention of the manager. I said, wow, is your house far from me? He said, no. He said, can you go and call your mom? And the child went and called the mom, and the mom came. They said, madam, this is what we heard. We were happy and wanted to give your child 10,000, and said you beat him. So why do you think your child would take such a stand? She said, because she had trained the child to be like that. That once it is not if it's not yours, don't take it. And when you are being given something for nothing, you should ask why. For nothing. You should ask why. Now, it's not like that in the society. You have a child who goes out. It's rare. You can find 1 in 10 or 1 in 100 that will actually do that, because the mother inculcated that culture in that child. Yes. It simply tells us that there is a boy that tomorrow eventually he becomes the governor of a state. He would not want to siphon the fund of the state, because he knows that fund is meant for something, not to enrich his personal pocket. Okay, so for me, I feel parents have failed in one aspect. It's high time we as parents rise now and begin to teach our children, saying, look, when you are out there, this is the kind of life you should live. This one is not necessary. The fact that you want to show off with Mercedes, what should a 17-year-old boy be doing with a Mercedes Benz, for crying out loud? What's he trying to show off? He's trying to impress the babes. For what? For what exactly? This is why we see what we see today in the society. They want to impress. And then again, let us look at it. Somehow, I will also want to blame social media. Somehow. Because it is the social media that portrays this flamboyant lifestyle. Now, look at it. Back then, when we don't have much of this, we have no knowledge of most of these things. We don't see them in the TVs. We don't see them in the phones. There is hardly a child who doesn't have an Android phone today, which is about the easiest way to get information, right? So he sees it, and then he's like, wow, there's a guy who's having a birthday party, and he's flaunting so much money. There is so much, everything is just like about money show and all of that. And then this child begins to think, oh boy, how I go do make a hammer? Make me too belong. You see the mindset, because we see a lot of this on the social media in our everyday life. So somehow we have been watching movies that have not been properly censored or completely not censored too. Home movies back then used to be about, they teach you some things, like in the days when we watched Tales by Moonlight and all of that. It's about stories that will caution you, that will teach you to be careful. But today it is not like that. So I think also the movie industry has also failed us in a lot of angles. So we should look at the movies we allow out daily. They should censor this. P-Man is not doing their job. It's just my own angle of it. Thank you.
I just want to add my voice to the parenting part. We're talking about parenting, but I want to ask, how many of us are parenting these days? We want to put the blame on the economy. Those days, once the father is working full-time and all over the place, the mother is probably doing business, something that helps her to keep an eye on the family. But now, you see that majority of the women are career women or full-time entrepreneurs who don't have time to sit down with their children to appraise their daily activities. We don't have that time to be friends to our children. We don't have that time to know who is saying what to the children. And when you have that on one side, you see your child do one thing, and then you act so harsh towards that child, you become so uptight. The child wants to start holding back information. They don't want to tell you things. So I want to say that the style of parenting these days is also a factor that has influenced these vices. So I hope that parents can change their styles, or devise a means to appraise the daily activities of the children. Thank you.
Okay, while we round up the show, we've said a whole lot, and I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has added their voice to it. The solution is what we've said from the audience. Parenting. And you ask yourself a question like you asked before, what about those children that don't have parents? Like you talk about the Almajiris and all of those people. So the government needs to kickstart an orientation program. Since it's now been seen that this issue of ritual killing is a major menace in the country, I think the government should also look into it to see how they can handle it. Because let's assume that parents have failed. Let the government don't also fail. That's what I'm thinking. Because someone like the Otodelas or the Dangote, I don't see a reason why their children will go and do money ritual. So if you're a parent, you should also live up to expectation. Don't be a lazy parent. Make sure that you live your life in a way that while you are gone, you have money stacked up to take care of your children. You understand? Because if you look at why these children are going into rituals now, it's because of money. You understand? So money is a major challenge in this country. And if you look at the economic situation of this country now, no fuel, no light, no this, no that. Even the parents are struggling. They are struggling to even make a living. You understand? So I will advise, if you know your financial situation, there should be something called birth control. You cannot be a father that you know your source of living, that you earn 50,000 or 100,000, and you are giving birth to over 32 children. So I don't understand who is going to take care of these children. And at the end of the day, you put these children into so much issue. They will go into, because if the children are at home and they can't get food to eat, they will look for how to get food. And by the way, why they look for how to get food, they'll get themselves into so many problems. So I think the parents should be held responsible. So, yeah, number one, because they are the ones that bring the children into the world. And that's why I don't blame some economies or some countries like China that will say, okay, you can only give birth to 2, that kind of thing, so that they can see how they can cope. But in Africa here, if you just get married last week, now they have started counting for you. They have started counting to see when you will give birth. Oh, now only one in them born. The wife. You go change this your wife. So I don't know who designed that philosophy of how many children a couple can have in Africa. So I think that is where the problem is. So I think our parents, or we as parents, should do more to educate our children. And in every step you take, always let them know that this is why I took this step, and so that they can learn. So when they keep learning, they will take it outside and also influence other children. So I think that is what we should. But for people like you that have started a movement of talking and talking and talking, you can't stop talking, because when you keep talking, you are passing the message out. Yeah. And don't forget, this program is also going to be on social media. So the same social media that they are watching is also going to be there to see how you can educate them.
They see it.
Yeah. Last word for you is that don't give up on life. Believe in yourself. I wrote a song, and I'm going to round up with that song. It says, I've got a feeling that everything will be just fine now. I've got a feeling that everything will be just fine now. Don't let nobody steal your dreams, don't steal your destiny. Oh, put up your hands and fly so high. You were beautiful, just like the rainbow. Whoa, 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 just like the rainbow. Whoa, 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 just like the rainbow.
It's fine. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ambassador Q, for coming on. Yeah. We are happy to have had you, and it's been a very, very fruitful discussion so far. Thank you so much. And to my beautiful audience, intelligent audience, applause for yourselves. You've done very well in doing justice to this topic, and I know that it will go very far and wide to reach as many teenagers as possible, and we will do ourselves that good to help spread it as well. Please don't stop talking to the teenagers around you. Let them know that it's actually honorable to grow and make legal money. Thank you so much for staying on In Perspective.